Okay, so today I'm going to do a video, and it's going to be a apple tree video. So my problem was that, well, we had bought an apple tree or two, and I had no idea, didn't really know about apple trees, pollination, flowering times, flowering times, and kind of how you have to set up your apple tree area. So I am going to go around and I'm going to show you what we actually have to start with. So we have a pretty big area on the side back of our house, and my husband, because with the rain and that and the hill, sometimes we'll lose soil and stuff, so he wanted to plant some trees. He wanted to plant some pretty nice shade trees, and when we went to the store we grabbed a couple of nice shade trees, but he decided that he wanted to get some apple trees. So we started with 2 apple trees. I have a yellow delicious here, which I also think is called a golden delicious, but I don't know if they're actually 2 different trees or if yellow delicious and gold delicious are the same thing. But we have a shade tree here. Well, let me see, shade tree. On our driveway, our back driveway, we have a shade tree. I have a rose bush, little pine tree, rose bush, pine. Are those? Yeah, those are. I think those are pine trees. Not really sure about my trees, but then we have a shade tree. We have apple tree, yellow delicious here. We have another shade tree. We have an apple tree here. That's the let's see, yellow delicious, and that's, oh my goodness, which one's this one? Yellow delicious, and this one is the, making sure that there's no critters down here when I come down. Sometimes there's snakes and turtles, and this one is a gala apple. Okay, so the first 2 apple trees that we got was a yellow delicious and a gala apple, and then we have a little bitty shade tree here. So what I did not know is that different apple trees, I think there's 4 different times a year that they will bloom and then fruit. So a yellow delicious and a gala apple are in the 4th, I guess the last of the season to do fruit. And I had to do my apple research because some apple trees are sterile. Some of them are partially fertile. Some of them are completely fertile. So watch out when you're buying apple trees. And like me, if you don't know a single thing about apple trees, you have to educate yourself on them, because there is definitely a method to growing apple trees. So again, I started with a yellow delicious, and there's a gala, and I do believe both of those are self-pollinating is what they call it, or half self-pollinating. So when I started to do my apple research, I learned that you needed other apple trees to kind of help pollinate apple trees. So what I did is I went out and got 6 more apple trees. So we have 8 apple trees total that we are going to plant. Now, like I said, the gala apple and the yellow delicious apple that I have in there are in, I guess, season 4, the late season. And what I did was I stuck with the season 3 and the season 4 apple trees. So that way I'll have 4 apple trees in season 3 that'll bloom and help each other out. And then I'll have 4 apple trees in season 4 that'll bloom and help each other out. So what apple trees do I have? So let's start here. So I found Granny Smith apple. Granny Smith. No. This one's a mustu apple tree. Now this one right here is unfortunately sterile, but the good thing is that I have 3 other apple trees that are in the same blooming time zone. This is in 3, and it'll help pollinate this apple tree. Now I thought this was a granny apple, which is why I got it, but it's kind of supposed to be a little softer than Granny Smith apple. But this one is a zone 3. I have a Red Delicious apple. This apple tree here is a zone 2 apple. No, not zone 2, zone 4 apple tree. This is going to be with the Gala apple and the Yellow Delicious. And it already does have some fruit on it. It is a pretty nice stocky tree. Back there I have a shade tree. It's a weeping willow. Let's see, here I have a Fuji apple. Fuji apple is a zone 3. And when I say zone 3, it doesn't mean like area of where it's planted. It means the time of season. There's a season 1, a season 2, a season 3, and a season 4. So Fuji is season 3. That'll go with the Mutsu tree. And then here I have a Honeycrisp apple tree. This is a blooming zone 4. So for zone 4, I have 4 trees. I have the Honeycrisp here. I have the Red Delicious. I have the Gala apple. And then I have the Yellow Delicious up in the front. And so far for zone 3, I have, for zone 3 growth, I have the Mutsu tree, the Fuji tree, and then this is where I come to my Granny Smith tree. See, Granny Smith, and yeah, they actually have the same, this company here, they put, I guess, the same sticker on the apple trees, but they put this little thing here to separate them, whereas some of the other places they actually have a tag that tells you what the apple tree is. So that's why I kind of got confused on those. But so far zone 3 has the Granny Smith apple, the Mutsu apple, and the Fuji apple. And then also here for zone 3 blooming is the Jonathan apple. Okay, so you see, this is why I don't want you to get confused. So usually people say zones are the areas where they bloom, zones 5 to 8. I'm just talking about the time of blooming zone. So when you hear me say 1, 2, 3, or 4, usually I'll say 3 or 4. Those are just the blooming, what do you call it? Blooming times. Now, Jonathan here, he came in, and this is again me helping you guys to know some apple tree knowledge. I did not know that apple trees really, I knew trees in general can get sick and get plagues and stuff like that, but Johnny came in and he had a lot of leaves, he did, but they were covered in, well, the leaves are actually down here now because I cut them off. The leaves have this, what you call rust, cedar rust, I do believe it's called. So, because this tree was already affected and it's by my other trees, I went ahead and took some time and went through each branch. And again, I don't know if it's going to help or not, but I took off most of the leaves that have even this little spot of cedar rust, because I did not want it to become a very problematic tree. And yes, Jonathan here looks kind of sad because he doesn't have a lot of leaves. And I ended up, again, just not really cutting back the branches, but I took off a big amount of leaves. I did move him away from, I mean, of course, you're gonna, they tell you that in order to make sure that your apple trees are safe, to not have a cedar tree within 2 miles of you. This tree I actually got from outside of my home. These trees here were more in my area, so I do believe he was close to something, but I didn't want him to bring it in. So I clipped his leaves and I did a run to my local Ace Hardware and bought fungicide. And that doesn't look like rust. That looks like a bug. And I went and I sprayed. Now I did quickly go ahead and just use this. And it says it helps with leaf spots, rust, blights, stuff like that. Controls, stops, and prevents. So I use this, but I do have a couple of other ones that are concentrated that I actually have to use in the sprayer, and I will spray on them a mist to keep them protected, because I do not see the tree rust really on any other leaves. Is that bug or is that true? That looks like bug. It doesn't look like tree rust. So, yep, that's kind of what I'm dealing with right now. Wait a minute. Up here. And I hate plucking. Let's see. No, that doesn't look like tree rust. Well, you know what? I don't know. But anytime I see like leaves in that are dying and not looking healthy, I'll go ahead and pluck off. But I am definitely going to spray the trees down, get them planted, and wish for the best, because I have here 8 different trees that are each going to help each other get pollinated. 4 in growing zone 3. Growing zone means just the time. I need to quit saying growing zone. Growing time 3, the 3rd season, I guess. And I have 4 trees that are in growing season 4. I also do have some roses here that I've kind of been soaking to hopefully get them ready to plant. But again, this is just kind of an apple tree video. I'll do another video when we get these planted, but I am super excited because this is just another thing that we're hopefully going to do and succeed in. I did see a lot of people posting videos about the root suckers, the plants down there on the roots that need to come off. So I am just kind of educating myself, watching other videos on apple trees, how to keep them healthy, how to keep them, you know, in the best form that they can be in, and get lots and lots of apples. So, all right, I will go ahead and end this video, and later when we get these planted, I'll do an update. Oh, and before I actually end this video, the 2 things that I bought at my Ace are these: copper fungicide and fruit tree spray. So these are supposed to be really good to help control with not just fungus and diseases, but also animals and insects, you know, stuff that can actually be really, really bad for fruit trees. And here's my sprayer. My husband actually told me we have a sprayer, an extra sprayer outside, so I'm going to probably end up returning this one and using the one that we already have. But again, did some research, and if you've used these on your apple trees, let me know. Let me know if they work. Let me know how you use them, you know, just information on them. So, all right. See you in the next video. Bye-bye.